Graham continues to intervene with the Abbotts, and Alice has been hit by a car. Stay tuned for this week's Restless Wrap.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's Restless Wrap. I'm Rachel Goodman. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Rach Goodman, or on Facebook at Rachel Ann Goodman. And I'm here with Walker Ragsdale today. Walker, where can everyone find you?
They can find me, Rachel, at I am Walker R on Twitter.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for being here.
Yeah, that's fun. It was a fun week, so we have a lot to talk about.
Definitely. But right before we get into that, let's just quickly go over some of the changes that are happening with AfterBuzz TV. So before, we just kind of had one channel where all your favorite shows would just kind of be spread out. We're actually reorganizing AfterBuzz. So, for example, Young and the Restless is now going to be under the drama category, and other shows will be categorized based on what they are genre-wise. So, we have a comedy, a sci-fi superhero fantasy, reality TV, reality competition, animation, wrestling, sports, red carpet events, and then we also have a featured and original channel for you guys to check out. If you have any questions about what's going on, you can always email info@afterbuzztv.com, or you can reach them on social media at AfterBuzzTV. The other thing I wanted to mention real briefly before we get into this week's episodes is that we also have a new Facebook page for Young and Restless Wrap.
Yes.
So you guys can all go to @RestlessWrap, RestlessWrap, and hit like. I will be posting every Sunday with the link to the actual show that we're going to be doing. So if you like that and you want to just comment and hang out and talk about this week's episodes, we have that page up there. So feel free to go over and like it. And,
yes, everyone please like.
Yeah, please. That would be awesome, because then we'll all be on the same page. Yes. Literally. So, all right, without further ado, I just also want to give a shout out to some people in the chat, and then we'll start talking. Taylor and I have been talking, Taylor Jones and Ice Woman 1887, Dualiman. Thank you guys for joining every week. I don't know what we would do without you. All right, so.
And for the people who maybe watching don't know about the chat, how do you get into the chat?
So basically, if you watch the show live, the chat it kind of pops up right next to the video. And anything you type, I'll see. I watch the chat as we do the show, and I will read your comments. I promise I will.
And if you listen on a download, maybe next week, you'll join us in chat.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're watching this and it's already been recorded, feel free to join us next week and be part of the live chat. All right, so let's start with Graham.
Graham.
Our favorite. Yeah. So, all right. This week we kind of got into how Graham was kind of being confronted about his mother being alive. And of course, he came up with the whole aunt story.
I will say that this storyline feels like it's starting to ramp up, and we're starting to get some actual movements. I think we all know, some fans are smart, that it's basically leading up to the big reveal of Ashley isn't an Abbott. Now the curveball that Young and Restless seems to be throwing at us is that is Graham Ashley's brother.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that we were talking about this before too, and I don't know, because it could be that the way they're mentioning Brent, the way that Graham's mother is mentioning Brent, she's referring to him by his first name. So it could be that Brent is Graham's father, or it could be that that Brent was just a man that came into the family after Graham's father had either gone away or passed away, or we just don't know, but it's very possible. And when I'm watching Graham and Ashley now, it almost kind of does feel like they're brother and sister.
It's interesting because if I had done it, I kind of would have maybe Graham's mom knows that whole part, or actually Graham doesn't know that actually he knows Ashley isn't an Abbott. She doesn't know who her father is.
It kind of seems like he might know,
Do you think-
though. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because I feel like maybe last week or the week before last, he was kind of talking to Dina. He was like, so who was it? And that's when she was like, you know what? Never bring the subject up. I don't want to talk about this again. So I was kind of like, does he know about the tennis pro? Or because remember, then she called like some old friend is like, oh, did you know Dina? Sure, she had lots of affairs on John. So I'm wondering, I think the storyline would be better played if we find out that Graham doesn't know and he's thinking he's like doing something to hurt Ashley.
Yeah.
And then you find out, oh, wait, she's actually my sister.
Yeah, I would love that. And actually, now that we're seeing this, at first, I just didn't like Graham.
Yeah.
Now I actually do like Graham. I think it's his mother that's pulling the strings, and that Graham is just this, like, I almost saw him as, like, an innocent, even though he's not a kid, I
Yeah.
saw him as, like, kind of an innocent kid, like, the way he was talking to his mom and everything,
He's-
like, okay.
He's kind of, yeah, because I remember at one point she's like, you know, don't get soft, like, you
Yeah.
know, this, you know, so I think they're doing that to show that Graham could be redeemed in a sense.
Yeah.
So because you don't, unlike Zack, which we'll get to later, like once that storyline wraps,
Oh,
like
Zack,
there's
there's no way. Yeah.
need for Zack.
Yeah.
But I think if you're going to make Graham viable, they kind of have to show a little bit sincerity on his part.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping that, which, you know, spoiler alert, I don't know, maybe next week is Ashley has, you know, the big awards and the family gets together, and I feel like that's when the bomb's gonna get dropped by Graham.
That she's not an Abbott.
And I hope it comes out that, like, wait, she's not Abbott, but she's my sister. So
Yeah.
that will kind of,
That would be interesting.
I think that will make this, fingers crossed.
Yeah. I agree. That would be the best place to drop it, in front of all these people so the whole town knows.
Yeah.
Also, kind of getting back to Graham, like, I really hope that it turns out that he's not this huge bad guy. And really, everything that he's done so far, I feel like we've seen other characters do worse.
Yeah.
And they're still on the show and they're completely redeemed. And I just don't see him as being a bad guy right now. But Zack, yeah.
Yeah. Zack. I mean, if you look at the history, it comes down to what do they have plans for him long term? Like, what's going to happen? Is he a character that's going to stick around, or if he's just here to serve this storyline? Because even Dina, like, I didn't realize that she was going to be on the show this long. I thought she was just coming back to, you know, sell off and kind of have that confrontation with the kids after being away. But they've seemed to keep her in here pretty, you know, it's been like a year now, I want to say.
And I think with Dina, I think what's frustrating me is that they really made it look like she was having some kind of, medical condition.
Yeah.
And now it's like it kind of just went away. I don't really like when they do that, because even with Nikki, I'm glad that Nikki is not.
MS?
Yeah, I'm glad she's not suffering.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what happened? Like,
Well, even Victor has medical issues. He has epilepsy.
yeah, but, and I would never, because they don't really mention
they don't
it.
mention
Yeah.
that. But especially the Dina part, because if you're gonna play a storyline where someone potentially has, you know, dementia, which could affect like her business decisions, like that could have a lot of storyline impact. So to tease that and then to kind of just be like, oh, she's just a
depression.
normal, like, you know, just, you know, cranky older lady, then it's like, what's, you know.
And they pushed it for maybe a good 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right around that 4th of July time frame. And then all of a sudden, nothing. So I don't understand that, because I feel like if, you know, with dementia, you're not just going to be okay.
Yeah.
And if Graham is there to also help her because of this, I feel like we should really be learning more of this at this point.
And I think, you know, we will. Just a little inside baseball is that I believe Sally, the last hair writer, I think her stuff's finishing up airing now. So I think Mal's work is it's either showing now or like the next couple of weeks, and then we'll see kind of where his idea direction is for the show.
Yeah.
And especially with that storyline.
Now, you've been watching a long time.
Yes.
So in your experience, do they normally take a storyline that they start and just sort of drop it?
Yes.
Okay.
They do that a lot, and it's especially the transition between head writers. Like, you know, someone someone new will come in and will be like, well, you know what, we have to clean up this and let's like just drop this or this works. And sometimes it's because the fans. Sometimes a show will start doing, and fans will be like, no, this isn't working, and the writers will be like, course correct, and like on our sister show, Bold and Beautiful, Brad Bell he's a huge let's start writing and then just like drops and goes a different direction. So I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I guess we will, and especially. At least they're not dropping everything with Dina and Graham, but it would be nice to see that something, whatever it was, medically remain.
Yes.
I'm just gonna read a couple of our comments from the chat. So we have Brittany Duran. Hey, Brittany. Graham is Ashley's brother, and he's trying to start trouble talking to someone who wants revenge on Dina for some reason. Doolaman says, that would be so boring, though. Okay, he's Ashley's brother. Now what? That's true. Plus, if it turns out that he's not Ashley's brother, I was noticing some sexual tension there. That could just be me.
I could see. I feel really bad for Ashley and Eileen, who plays Ashley. They just haven't had much for Ashley to do. She hasn't had Ashley's last real romance, I want to say, is almost Brad, and Brad's been gone for that's been many years now. Like, Ashley is viable and deserves like a storyline of her own where she's not Jackie.
Yeah, that's true.
Or now playing detective with Ravi, which I don't like that.
I love Ravi as a character.
Yeah.
I just don't know that it feels right between Ravi and Ashley for some reason.
Yeah.
But I really love like how nice he is. Like, he's one of my favorite characters, I think, because he is such a nice person, and he's the least soapy character, or one of the least soapy characters.
And every company needs their their IT tech genius.
Yeah.
Every company has it.
Definitely,
So for the Abbotts to have one. But yeah, Ashley, I don't know. I want more for her.
Yeah. Yeah, because I do agree. She's a very strong character. It would be more interesting to have her involved in something more than just Graham, and to be involved in a bigger plot line somehow.
And no Graham, and not like trying to play referee between her brothers.
Yeah.
I think if they want someone to do referee, they should bring Tracy in and let Tracy be between Billy and Jack, and let her play peacemaker, because Tracy is that like sweet character. Like, I want my brothers and I love my family. I want us all to get along. They need to have her more play that instead of having Ashley. Ashley needs to be somewhere creating the next best thing, or having a great romance, which there's no one on the canvas for her. So
yeah, that's
I
true.
think they need to bring someone in.
More on her level.
Yeah.
Speaking of Tracy, I sort of got the hint that she might be coming back.
Yes, Tracy is coming back.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. You guys are smart.
It was obvious. I didn't even read the news.
You guys on Twitter and Facebook, you probably know more sporters than I do. So you could probably tell me what's going to happen next month. But yeah, so Tracy's coming back for the whole Abbotts are getting together for this.
The Innovators ceremony,
for the Innovators,
right? Yeah.
In my mind, the reveal of Ashley is in the Abbott storyline.
Yeah, that's definitely.
That's pretty much the only reason for this, because they've never had an Innovator Award before, and for it to become this like huge like thing. So.
And I still think that it's going to affect Abby more than Ashley, because really at this point, I think they even mentioned this in one of the episodes, that what would really even be the big deal if it came out now? And Dina seemed to think that the only real big deal was that it might affect Ashley. I don't even think she mentioned Abby, but I feel like it would be Abby, because she's the one who's caught in this battle and is
I feel like it's only going to be like, it's almost, it's very old soap. It's almost like the class system, where it's like, oh, we're the Abbotts and we're above it all and we don't have scandals. So it's more of a scandal, like, it's gonna be, I feel like it's gonna be more of like a TMZ 15-minute storyline. Like, oh my gosh, Abbott's,
Like
you know,
Hillary
yeah,
Abbott.
I can see Hillary doing a special, and you know, like when it was revealed that Billy and Phyllis were actually together, and Phyllis was like walking into GAC, like covering her head, like
yeah.
they'll do
Yeah.
those little things. But I think as far as anything else, I don't. There's no real like impact, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like Ashley didn't know.
Yeah.
Like those, that would have been like more interesting. But
And most people in her family, like Jack,
Yeah,
he
Jack
knows,
knows.
so it's not like
I don't know if Tracy knows. So if any of you guys in the chat knows that bit, or you listen to this on download, tweet me, because I don't know if Tracy knows or not.
Yeah. It seemed to me like people in the immediate family did already know,
Yeah.
but we'll see. Maybe not.
No.
We do have a couple of comments here. So, first of all, Doolaman says, I don't know what she's responding to, or he or she, sorry, but they say exactly, Walker, someone with so much history.
Ashley.
Ashley, yeah. Taylor says, I love Ashley. I want her to have a storyline again. Doolaman, Ashley has had 2 mental breakdowns. Then we have Simone Francis. I agree that Ashley needs her own storyline. So a lot of people are agreeing on that. Doolaman, too many dead Abbotts. Ice Woman, Tracy doesn't know. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that will be some emotional stuff to play. You know, the whole "you're still my sister, I still love you." So
Yeah.
that will be interesting. And I don't think if Tracy doesn't know, then I'm going to say Billy doesn't know.
I wasn't sure about that either. Billy seems like he kind of is more on the outside too, especially compared with Jack and Ashley.
So it might be a good moment for the Abbotts to come together, because the Abbotts are my favorite soap family on the show. So when they're a unit and they're together, it's just like it's just nothing better. So
Yeah,
like
I
maybe
agree.
like Jack and Billy can put their differences aside and kind of, if it's a moment where we can get like, you know, we're coming together, we still love you, you're still our sister, nothing's changed, you know.
Yeah, maybe some of the tension can be resolved too with Billy.
Yeah.
We do have another comment. J.A. says, miss viewers calling in. So next week, what I'll do is if you guys want to call in, I'll put the number up. And so if you do want to call in, come to the live chat next week and we'll do that. And then Ice Woman 1887 says, Billy also doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that sounds very believable considering he just doesn't seem.
Yeah,
as connected.
if Tracy doesn't know, then Billy doesn't know. So that will be, so it'll have some family impacts of that coming out. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see.
So why don't we talk a little bit about the sex ring and everything happening and our favorite Alice, which I was talking with Taylor and you before this, and yeah, that moment made us all laugh. That would have been my law moment, but something else was funny too. So it
But
didn't.
the good thing is we are very slowly wrapping this up.
Yeah.
Because for me, the good part of this week was, you know, Tessa's sister came,
Yeah.
you know,
I was so happy they finally.
they shipped her off.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm just like, I'm glad that point of the plot's done, because now that is done, we can kind of, Tessa's free to explore with Mariah.
Exactly.
And that's what it comes down to me.
Yeah.
Because they're not, you know, she's not worrying about Crystal or where's Crystal?
Yeah, that was starting to get a little annoying because they kept dragging it out. I was really happy when, you know, Crystal said, yeah, well, I'll go do it. I'll go, you know, wherever. I was a little interested where they were sending her exactly, because I don't think they were specific. They just said that they were going to take her somewhere so she could testify and be a witness for what was happening.
I was worried that it was going to be a situation where they sent her off and they brought her back.
Yeah.
But they brought this point up, and it was very smart in the dialogue, where Paul was talking to Sharon. He's like, this must remind you of Dylan. And it's like, oh, okay, so this is going to be a Dylan situation where they sent Dylan to witness protection, and we have not seen, and we're never going to see Dylan again unless there's a different face. But so
I remember that,
it shows that, like, okay, Tessa's off. Like, she's going to be like Dylan. Like, they're just, away and witness protection forever, and there's no need for Crystal.
Yeah. And I was just starting to want to see things go in a better direction with Mariah.
Yeah, that's
Crystal was definitely taking that.
Yeah,
and,
holding that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now I guess let's get into Mariah and Tessa here. So the conversation that Tessa had with Noah, what did you think of all that?
I will say that, again, with the writing, some of the storylines frustrate me. Some are very smart. Noah was going on with, pouring his heart out. It's like, oh, I wish I was there for you. I should have been there. You've been going through this. And Tessa's like, no, like, I have Mariah. Mariah's been my rock. I wouldn't be able to get through this without Mariah. So it's a lot of foreshadowing that, like, okay, like, she realizes that, like, she's telling you basically, dude, that, Mariah is, like, the one.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. I feel like Mariah is in a much clearer place mentally, and it could be because of everything Tessa was going through with Crystal. But Tessa, to me, is not accepting her feelings as easily as Mariah is. And Tessa's kind of, like, she still is seeing Mariah like family, like a really close friend. And I don't think that's all it is, but I think that's all that she's allowing herself to see. And maybe it's because Tessa is afraid of getting hurt. And with Noah, she only cares about him so much. So she's not as worried about things turning bad.
Yeah, I honestly don't know where Tessa is. I think they really did the storyline a disservice on her end, dealing with this Crystal, because most of her storyline has been about Crystal.
Yeah.
And then before that, it was, there's a joke on some people always talk about when Tessa first came in, she always talked about being poor. And then this week, it was like, oh, God, I didn't grow up like you. I didn't grow up in a place like this. I didn't grow up.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, let's not go
get over it.
Yeah. It's like,
yeah. You're not in that place now.
You're not in that place now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting. And I think for me, the soap fan, because I want it to be very soapy, I need them to push the Noah and Tessa relationship a little bit more, because I want it to be like Noah's like getting like super committed, and then like the fallout of like, wait, you're with Mariah. I want it to be more dramatic.
Yeah, me too. And I just Mariah, I was even a little disappointed how she was sort of telling Tessa, but she hasn't come out and actually said, like, other than you're so much more to me than family.
Yeah.
She just hasn't said, hey, I have romantic feelings for you. So I'll be curious, like, what will actually happen when that comes out.
If we're still talking about this in 2 weeks and there's been no movement, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Yeah.
I feel like without that huge, annoying storyline thread of Crystal, like, now we can focus on, like, because even Mariah said, like, or maybe Tessa, I can't remember, they're like, oh no, Mariah was talking to Devon. It's like, oh yeah, now Tessa's, Crystal's gone, now Tessa can devote, focus her time back on her music. And I'm like, yes. I mean, not the music part, but yes, we can focus on Mariah.
And even that was kind of annoying to me with Mariah and Devon, because now, okay, Mariah obviously knows how she feels about Tessa, and she's still with Devon. That kind of bugs me. I'm like, come on, like, just, break it off with him. Even if she doesn't get with Tessa, it's not fair to Devon. Well, not that, okay, Devon, I think, doesn't care about her either that much. Like, he cares about her, but not like passionately, as he said with Hillary. It was always passion. She was always on his mind. He just admitted that he really didn't feel that strongly about Mariah.
Yeah, I kind of like, I want them to, I would rather, again, like, I want the most soapy aspect of the most dramatic, and it's more dramatic having them both being in a relationship and then coming together, versus, like, because it's almost like that against all odds type situation. Like, it's more interesting, it's more rooting, like, yes, like, dump him, get, you really love the other person, versus if they both, let's say Tessa broke up with Noah tomorrow, and Mariah broke up with, Devon on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they would just,
too easy.
and they'll just be, like, pining for each other, because they would not just instantly get together. It'd be like, oh, well, so it's more, to me, it's more interesting. It's like, when you see them, and it's just like, oh, you're with them, and then, like, okay, so hi Noah, and then like she sees Mariah, and then like like those cuts of her like longing and like looking at. So to me, I'm just like.
I feel like even if Noah and Tessa break up tomorrow, it's still going to be a problem when Mariah and Tessa actually get together because Noah, okay, that's his sister, and his sister is going to date his ex-girlfriend. Like, he would probably be, it's like, if you're in that situation and someone you dated is now dating your sibling, wouldn't you feel a certain way?
And I feel like the way that they have Noah they're playing Noah is that if that happened when they're broken up, I feel like he'd be mad and then he would get over it. But I feel like if this happens and he sees it as a betrayal, that's a huge chance for the show to like really do something with the character and take him in a different direction. And so I want, coming out of this, I want Devon back with Hillary.
Yeah.
Tessa and Mariah together, and then I want Noah in a different direction.
Yeah. I almost wonder if they could bring in a new character completely that would end up being Noah's love interest.
So someone that's he deserves someone that's gonna not. I like Marissa. I didn't like Courtney, and like we can just go on and on about like he deserves someone an equal.
Yeah, because kind of like how I was saying with Ravi and him not being a soapy character, Noah's also a very calm character who, as long as I've been watching, doesn't seem like he's so involved in any of the drama, and he seems like a very stable character who isn't doing soapy dramatic things. So it is interesting having him involved in all of this and to see him end up in another a better romance that's more up to speed with his character.
And for me, I think playing Ryder, I would have him be so upset over this breakup and then that's when Victor comes in and it's like, oh, my boy, and tries to like mentor him, and then we see Noah like, forget this club stuff, I'm going to work at Newman, and kind of see Noah go in a more direction. It kind of there's no reason that he can't be running things like Abby. Like if Abby can run a divisions and stuff,
Yeah, it'd be interesting too if what they did with him was finally his break where he ends up going down a darker path too. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
But sorry, there's a couple other comments in here. Doolaman says, "Ooh, Ravi and Noah, interesting." And Doolaman also says, "Good idea, Walker." Hubby Joe says, "Noah can become the new Victor."
Yeah.
Oh my God, that would be such a dramatic change.
I think that would be, you have him so heartbroken and just scorned, and then that's when you have Victor come in, with his my boy, and
you can be like me.
You can, you should come and kind of have his influence on him,
Yeah.
Because Victor doesn't, him and Mariah have like a very like a weird like love-hate type, I won't say love-hate, but like respect-hate relationship. Yeah. So I could very easily see him like turning and just, like obviously Victor would probably be like, she's just like your mother, and because he's trash Sharon to know the kids before, so and it'd just be, we didn't think about Sharon, but like having Sharon be torn between like the two kids feuding, like her love for Noah and like her love, and
Nick
and guilt over Mariah. So it's like, well, what do you do when your kids are fighting against each other? Like, what side do you?
And Nick, he was already worried about Tessa in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I am really curious how he's going to react to this. I have a feeling that at first he's not going to like Tessa at all, because he's going to be like, "You broke my son's heart."
Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, but let's also kind of shift here, just for time purposes. Let's talk about Alice and Zack really briefly. So we already know Alice gets hit by a car, and we thought it was kind of funny, even though it's not supposed to be funny. But what do you think is going to happen? I know that they're kind of winding it down, but
slowly.
what do you predict might end up happening with Zack and Alice, now that she's gone? Where do you think that she is?
I still think something's telling me that Abby's going to be a part of Zack's exit storyline.
Yeah.
Abby's going to be a part of, I feel like she's going to be the one that somehow overhears something, finds out something, because she's already noticed that, like, she was talking to Victor this week, and there was a kind of like his moods and stuff. I still think Abby's going to be a part of like figuring it out, and I'm just ready to be done.
I really want it to be done. I want there to be this huge dramatic moment where I would love, like you said, for Abby to be the one to finally catch Zack. I feel like she's so close. Like she's the only one seeing this other side of him. And I want to know how Zack and Tessa are actually connected, aside from just being from the same area. I want to, like, I feel like
but I thought, well, no. At first I was thinking, well, maybe it's Crystal, but Tessa doesn't know Zack's the one that was, so it's not that. So,
I mean, that is how they are connected. They don't know it, but I feel like there's something else.
Well, this is where YNR is a letdown. Two characters that are new that we don't really care about. We don't care about their story, but their secret. I'd much rather Nicholas' secret with Sharon and Chelsea come out. Like, this show, I was watching it, and it's just... Okay, I'm being creative criticism. I was watching, and it was just so many storylines of all these new people, and the show needs to like focus on the core characters and kind of get back. New people are included, but so much of Zack, and even though I like Tessa, like Zack and Tessa and Graham, and then we have the new Billy, the new Phyllis. There's just a lot of new stuff going on that I think even online, if you look at Twitter, people are kind of just like, where's my Vicky and my Victor and Nikki and Ashley and Jack?
Yeah, they are not in as much of this.
And even
Jack, but not the rest of them.
And even like Chelsea and Nicholas, just now versus a year ago, like, they don't basically have a storyline. Oh, well, Nick, we can talk about that,
Yeah, let's talk.
His big storyline this week was his money was missing.
Yeah, and everything that's happening with his confrontation with Kevin. I was interested to see if Nick figured it out, and it seems like it seems like the way he's talking, he's figured out the whole thing. So I'll be real curious to see what they do with that. And Kevin, I guess, I don't know if he's going to be back.
And again, a positive note, I said this last week, I'm saying it again. They did an amazing job using Kevin, utilizing him with his time this time. They brought him back, and every scene that Kevin was in had a purpose, and it moved a storyline. Like his scenes with Gloria. I'm not really a big fan of Gloria, but those Kevin and Gloria scenes
were interesting.
They were really good. I was just like, I want more of this.
Yeah, I agree.
And even the confrontation with like Nick and like, it's so like knowing like as the fans know or the viewers know that Kevin's lying, but he's doing like such a good job of like trying to guilt trip Nick, like you kind of helped Chloe commit suicide. You pushed her to it
with a straight face, knowing she's alive.
Yes.
Like,
and it's just like the show did an amazing job, utilizing Kevin. And if we could kind of tweak that and do that day to day with each character and kind of have these scenes matter, I think the show would be so much better. But I loved having Kevin back this time. Like him working with Victor. I love that he's like, Victor's like, if you need any more work, I'll be back. And I was just like, I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. I think I do like how Kevin was involved. And also, even as he was telling Nick all these things that were not true, I still liked him as a character. I was like, I like Kevin.
Yeah.
So,
and it's also because we have the history of Kevin.
Yeah.
And that kind of like,
yeah.
Kevin's not a bad, he's done a lot of bad things, but he's not a bad guy. It's just, he loves Chloe.
So let's I have an interesting, I see an interesting comment from Hubby Joe. If Tessa knows Zack, why would Crystal not know who he is? Really good point, because you would think that if the families knew each other or if somehow Tessa knew Zack, Crystal might know her unless there's a reason why not. But let's kind of move along let's get into Brash and Sassy a little bit. So, all right. So we have Billy and Victoria basically begging Billy not to go on the computer, and of course he does. Yeah. And of course Jack figures out what's going on. And they're about to do this, Billy's about to do this launch with Victoria that could be good, but is based off of a fake file.
Yeah. I would say the part of the storyline that I like is that they are kind of playing to Billy's history of being of having an addiction to gambling,
Yeah.
and that like he gets off on the high of like taking risks, and so like keep doing, like Victoria's like, we don't need to keep doing this. He's like, yeah, like I really like that, and I like that aspect. It's just like the storyline, it just doesn't, I don't understand, it just doesn't make sense, and it kind of goes back to what I said last week. It's like the huge animosity between Billy and Jack is the whole Phyllis situation. And then we get so many scenes with Jack and Phyllis being like so cool and like buddy, and it's just like,
I don't like that. It was okay for a while.
It's just like, well, why do you hate your brother so much, but you're okay with the woman? Like, it's...
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't make sense to me that he would be okay with her still... I mean, I guess he's working with his ex, Phyllis is working with Jack. Fine,
Yeah.
I get it. But how could they think that they wouldn't go back and, go behind each other's back? Because they both have done it.
Yeah.
So at this point, yeah, I just really don't want them together. I really want Victoria and Billy to finally get back together.
Ugh.
And I know, I do. But it really seems like that's where they're heading with it, at least right now.
Yeah, I don't know. They kind of screwed this up. Billy and Phyllis had so much heat and so much passion. Especially, maybe, I don't know if it's because of the affair, but during it when she was still married to Jack, I was loving those two together. And then somehow, like, maybe because they got too comfortable, and it's just like,
to me, it's just kind of boring.
It's gotten, but. Which worries me, that if Billy is boring with Phyllis, when he's with Victoria, then we're going to all be asleep.
Yeah, that's true. But right now it's interesting because because he can't be with her, basically. Yeah. So I guess let's just talk about, this is kind of random. Let's talk about Lily and Kane real fast.
Lily and Kane.
Yeah. So we had some comments from Taylor Jones about how the acting from the twins was spot on this week. How did you feel about that?
Well, we all know I don't like the twins. not the twins acting. I just don't like the. I'm not gonna go on a tangent again of Lily having such older. What's the end game with this? Is this a situation? Is this another make up to break up thing for Lily Kane, that they're gonna. They're going to break up and then they're going to, find their way back together? Or is this a whole new beginning for like
Lily and
because
Jordan?
if Lily and Kane are done, then we need someone viable to come in for Lily. Because for Kane in his age range, sorry, I'm being too like technical with soaps. But in his age range, there's so many women, like if Kane and Victoria, when they were fighting, there was chemistry between Kane and Victoria, like,
and I think a lot of people like
that or Kane and Phyllis. So I think Kane's gonna be finding, but we need someone for Lily, and it's not Jordan.
Oh, I love Jordan as like her love interest.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's
again too many newbies.
No, I understand.
We're gonna let's this is not an original thought, but bring back Grazade as Danny Romalotti, her first love, her first husband. Like, Lily needs someone, not a Jordan. Jordan go with Zack.
Yeah. Either that, or I'd be happy too if Lily just wasn't with anyone. If she was just kind of taking her time.
That is true, because Lily has gone from man to, well, not that she's been with that many men, but she's gone from relationship to relationship. There hasn't been much, single,
And she clearly loves Kane still, so I don't think it would be fair to anyone right now. I just think she needs to just focus on her children and just take time away. I kind of feel like Kane should do that too, but I wouldn't be opposed to him getting with either Juliet or Hillary. I could see that.
That is a very interesting. They have a very interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
But I love Hillary with Devon.
Yeah.
But Hillary's the one character that they're just like doing everything right with. Like, she's sticking her nose into just enough of everybody's little business. She's making people, you either love or you hate Hillary, and there's no indifference. And I think at the end of the day, that's what you want in a character. You want to either love them or you want the people to hate them.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like a Zack where you're just like, I don't care about Zack. I fast forward to Zack. You want some type of reaction.
And that's the thing with Hillary is that she infuriates me as a character, but it's good because there's a reaction.
It's entertaining.
Yeah.
Like yeah. So.
No. Okay, so I'm gonna read a couple more comments, and then after that we could do the Loll moment.
Okay.
Okay. So Dooliman, she says yes, Walker. Dooliman also says Lily and Daniel were so in love. And then Simone says, Kane and Lily are going to be Y&R's John and Marlena. They will get back together eventually. Maybe. Maybe once Kane has learned how to not lie to his wife. Okay, so let's get into the Loll moment. I was waiting for that. Okay, so for me, aside from Alice, which had me in hysterics, no! Okay, aside from that, I really thought it was funny when Jack and Victoria were in the elevator, and Jack says, he holds the door open and lets her basically get in, and he goes, I may be your competitor, but I'm still a gentleman. It was funny, but nice at the same time.
We're wrapping up, but even those two battling is more interesting than the Billy. So I feel like they need to take the Billy out of it, and if it's just Jack versus Victoria, those two play really well against each other, and it's more of a like, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like, you know, the whole like the brother versus when like the woman was involved, like that's too messy and it doesn't make sense. But the Jack, I enjoy Jack when he's going against Victoria.
Yeah.
Because and then it's also they play it like Victoria's like, well, you're with my mom, don't make me talk to my, you know, do you want me to talk to my mom or, you know. So I think it's playful. For my moment was, I can't remember the exact dialogue, but it was when Gloria and Kevin were talking.
That was nice.
And she was, and she's asking him, is there anyone new in your life? And he's like, no, it's too soon. And then he kind of pretty much goes back to her, and she's like, oh, well, this was a guy named Graham, but like, he didn't want to give me anything. And I was just like, oh my God.
Really
I was like, I feel bad for Kevin. It's just like, oh
He
my God,
wasn't
Gloria.
available.
Yeah, it's just like,
yeah.
You don't want to ask your mom about her love life.
No, especially Gloria.
Especially Gloria, because
she'll tell you the whole thing.
She'll tell you everything.
Details.
Yeah. So that was I really like that.
Awesome. Well, okay, so we are wrapping up for today. So Walker, do you want to tell everyone where they can find you?
Yes. You can tweet me. We can talk about Y&R or any of the other shows. I am Walker R.
Awesome. Perfect. And thank you guys for tuning in. This has been an awesome show. Again, thanks for joining in the chat. I'm Rachel Goodman. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Rach Goodman or on Facebook at Rachel Ann Goodman. Also, please go and like our new Facebook.
Please check out the Facebook page.
It's at Restless Rap. So thank you guys again. We will see you next week at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time because I can talk.
And join us in the chat next week. We want more people. We want to have more dialogue with the chat people.
And I will give shout outs to anyone who writes.
You must think that I'm stupid.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments and questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Every time you hurt me, the less that I cry. And every time you leave me, the quicker these tears dry. And every time you walk out, the less I love you. Baby, we don't stand a chance. It's